What does trance music mean to you? Such a broad spectrum, but for me personally, trance music is basically a state of mind. It is a powerful genre of electronic dance music that can totally take you to a completely different place in that moment where you lose concept of any form of reality outside of it. It is hypnotic, usually built around epic melodies, melancholic vibes, chords, driving bass lines, acid lines, and just hypnotic grooves which totally hook you in and basically opens your mind to a whole different world. It's an amazing genre, and I don't think that feeling or state can be created in any other type of music. It's powerful. The world is about to end. You're organising the last ever party. Which DJs would you book to play? Oh my God, there's so many. It'd be quite a lot actually. I think I would have Boris Brejcha play early on. Really love his hypnotic sort of progressive, like techno-y vibes. I'd have that to kick things off. I would also have Joseph Capriati on the lineup, a killer techno artist. I would have Nina Kravitz, who I think is a phenomenal DJ. I would have Eric Prydz as his Cyrus D alias. Some of the best tracks he's made have been under the Cyrus D banner. So yeah, I would definitely have him. I would have John Askew. I would also have Simon Patterson, Will Atkinson. I would have Paul van Dyk, Ali and Fila. And I think to close things off, I would have someone to totally round off the night, or night stroke morning, and that would probably be Sasha. But I would have Sasha playing the music that he used to play around about 97 to 99, that real cool, tripped out, progressive trance. Yeah, that for me would be the ultimate killer lineup. What is your greatest fear? There isn't really one obvious answer to that for me. I think probably not facing my fears. That's one of the main things in my life that I try and make sure that I do, even though I could be shit scared along the way. Or I think overall, maybe if it came to the end of my life and I didn't live the life that I could have or should have, that's probably the biggest fear for me. So just to make sure that I go all out with the life that I've got while I have it. What is your earliest memory? My earliest memory is when I was learning to ride a bike, and I was all flying along, happy days, and when I realized that the person who was holding behind me wasn't anymore, I absolutely shit myself and lost control, freaked out, fell off my bike and fell into a fish pond, which was quite a traumatic experience. Have you ever said I love you and didn't mean it? Definitely not. I love you is a very powerful statement, and it's something that would just come out naturally. It wouldn't be something I would consciously be thinking of saying. So if I said it, I definitely meant it at the time anyway. What is your guiltiest pleasure? I'm going to get slated for this, but I would have to say my guiltiest pleasure is Made in Chelsea. Love watching that series. I have absolutely no idea why. Actually probably because of all the posh hot birds in it, so yeah, that's probably why. What's your all-time favourite movie? I would have to say my all-time favourite movie would be the original Rocky film. I love that film. I've watched it so many times, and I also love the story behind the film, the fact that Sylvester Stallone had written the whole script or screenplay himself, and he was given a substantial offer to sell it on, but I think the deal was that he couldn't act in the movie, and he turned it down, and yeah, God knows if he had just sold that off, he wouldn't have achieved or been where he is now. So I like the whole backstory of it. And he played a phenomenal character in it. It's just great to see that sort of character coming from nothing and achieving what he achieved. Absolutely love that film. If you could change one thing about the world, what would you change? I guess overall I would change the balance of power throughout the world. You know, there's leaders and governments and God knows who else behind these governments who just basically are the puppet masters of the whole world. And I feel the balance is out of whack. You know, when you see so many countries which are starving and people dying, and the riches in other parts of the world, and I feel like this should be leveled off and just basically look after this world and the people in it. And I think everyone should be, you know, helped along the way who aren't as fortunate as us. Aside from that, maybe this digital world, people have become disconnected as well. So maybe a lot more connection and human interaction, just basically getting back to basics as to how humans are meant to live and not get totally lost in this, what seems like this digital era that we're in now. So yeah, that would be it. What is the most important lesson life has ever taught you? The most important lesson that life has ever taught me is to never, ever, 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 fucking ever give up on a dream or a goal that you want to achieve. You'll get punched in the face many times. You'll have successes, you'll have failures, you will have forks in the road, bumps in the road. Everything could fall apart. But if you have or are lucky enough to have a vision of something that you want to achieve or go for in your lifetime, you need to let that be at the forefront and follow that and take whatever steps you need to take to achieve what it is you want to achieve. You can achieve anything in this life if you believe in it and you work hard and you go for it. So never, ever, ever give up. And also never let other people's opinions hold you back or take you away from your own belief in what you want to do yourself. So never give up. In a film about your life, who would play you? Who would play me? I would like to say Daniel Craig. Kind of feel he's like got a bit of an icy vibe to him and he's pretty cool. So yeah, probably Daniel Craig. Bit of a James Bond fan as well. So yeah, Daniel Craig. You're only allowed to drink one alcoholic drink for the rest of your life. What would it be? Oh my God. So many options. The ironic thing is this drink that I would choose is a drink that I used to hate, the only drink I used to hate as I was younger, and that would be tequila. When I used to drink that before, it would be the only thing that would make me feel nauseous or sick. But tequila is now my favorite drink and something I could drink at dinner and something I could drink when I party. So yeah, tequila's number one and it's pretty clean. So yeah, tequila. If you were an animal, what would you be? If I was an animal, I would probably be a tiger. I think they're a bit more solitary hunters than a lion and not quite as lazy. And yeah, love their stripes as well. So yeah, I think I would be a tiger. Which track from your back catalogue best defines you and your sound? I would probably have to choose P45. And the reason for that is I always wanted to create a new wave within the 140 sound that I was known for. And we launched the label with Midnight, which would be a strong contender for that. But when P45 followed up Midnight, I feel like that was the fresh new take on my more driving melodic sound. So, and it stamped the overall picture for Skullduggery. So I would have to say P45. When did you last cry and why? The one time that does spring to mind was probably 3 years ago whenever I left Dublin. I moved back to England from Dublin and packed all my stuff, and I was on the boat sitting outside, and as the boat was sailing off, I was just looking over at the water, and I don't know, tears just started to pour down my eyes. It was almost like the end of a chapter, stepping into a new chapter, and it was kind of sad but also exciting at the time. So that was the last time I cried, about 3 years ago. If you weren't a DJ or a producer, what would you be? When I was a kid, I thought I wanted to be a footballer. I was pretty good, but definitely not the top end that you would need to be to even have a chance of doing that. So football went out the window as soon as music came into my life. But since I was 13, I just made that decision that that's what I was going to be, and nothing ever changed my mind. There was a period when I was about 18 or 19, I went to not be a financial advisor, but to train as a financial advisor as a backup. And I had to basically work in a place 2 days a week on a Monday and a Tuesday. And doing that for like a month or two was enough to tell me there's no fucking way I'm ever doing this job or not becoming a DJ. So that was a massive driving factor for me. Moving further down the line, I guess, if I wasn't a DJ, maybe I would probably be in management or running record labels or something like that. But outside of music altogether, maybe something fitness related or business, or maybe starring in the next series of Only Fools and Horses or something like that. What is your favourite country to travel in? Going to Asia is always special for me. I really love the culture over there. I really love playing over there. And I would say, in particular, Tokyo in Japan. And over the last couple of years, I've had some epic trips there and gigs as well. And been quite fortunate enough to build something really cool there, and really love the vibe, really love the people. I love DJing there, I love the food, and yeah, I just love everything about it. So I would probably say Tokyo would be my favourite place to travel. What are your top 3 trance tracks of all time? Wow, tough one. So many great records over the years. I would have to say the number 1 spot would go to Sasha with Expander. When I first heard that track, it absolutely blew me away. There's not many records, even the whole spectrum of electronic dance music for me would come close to that. The story throughout the whole track, all the sounds, the programming, everything about it is untouchable. No one should ever go near that. It's a masterpiece. So number 1, Sasha Expander. Number 2, not so much a trance track, but it's still definitely relevant to trance, I would have to say, would be DJ Misha and Tim Access, the original mix. When I first ever heard that I think I was 14 years old, and it was on a Carl Cox mixtape, and it just blew my mind. It is a ridiculous track, and it's timeless basically. Over the years I've played that millions of times, and it still sounds fresh now. It's ridiculous. DJ Mission, Tim Access, number 2. Number 3, I would probably say Paul van Dyk featuring Second Son with Crush. The melody in that track is ridiculous. The simplicity of the record, the sound of the plucks, the drive. I actually like all the different versions of this track, and the simple vocal in it. It's perfect. It's an amazing record. So number 3 would be Paul van Dyk featuring Second Son, Crush. What is the one thing in your schedule you're most excited about? There's so many cool projects going on in the background at the moment. Like, work hasn't stopped here, even though we are at a standstill with this COVID stuff at the minute. Lots of cool bits for the label Skullduggery, some cool compilations. Early plans have started for my debut artist album. Lots of killer singles coming too. But if I had to pick one thing that excites me at the most right now, is a brand new project that Simon Patterson and myself are working a lot on at the minute. It is under a new name. We are working on stacks of fresh new material to present this next year, and it's an amalgamation of both our sounds. It's fresh, it's got impact, it's just killer basically, and I'm so excited to present it when it's done. The new sound and the overall picture of the concept has been created, and we're both really buzzing about it. A final message for the dedicated fans on the Tranceportal. For all you guys that have followed Tranceportal already, you can expect some of the most ridiculous, killer exclusive material from some of your favourite acts in trance. This hub is going to be massive. It's going to be the go-to place in trance, and if you haven't followed Tranceportal already, get on it. It's /tranceportal.tv, and yeah, it's exciting times at Tranceportal, so get involved.